Virgo 18, a Ouija board. A Ouija board has been used for 100 years or so, and it started as a game. It's where you consult the spirits. You ask for messages to come from sources beyond the grave, perhaps. But the essence of this sign is all about developing intuition. It's not about sort of the darker, funny side of Ouija boards. So Ouija board was just an ordinary thing to Elsie. It's a tool for developing intuition. It could easily have been learning to read tea leaves or how to use the tarot or the I Ching. It's all about this facility that we have where the right and the left brain have somehow interplay together through the third eye. And the right brain is more to do with intuition, which we need to develop as much as we develop our thinking side using such things at school as mathematics and so on. We really ought to develop the right brain too. And the Ouija board was what Elsie was seeing as a clue that we need to do that. The right and the left brain can be very much at odds with each other. They disagree. Some people say there can't be any truth in astrology because it's not logical. They can't see that something could exist that does not explain itself in the logic that we currently understand. They can't do that. Now, other people are willing to believe more or less anything they're told without checking it out to see if it's actually rational, whether it's reasonable. So you got the two different types of people: the bigots who will simply not look at the possibility that astrology exists and is meaningful, and the space cadets who are not very discriminating in what they believe. Now, we're all trying to get a sense of the nature of reality. What is this place, Earth? What is this thing, life? What are we doing here? What's going on? Nobody's told us. Nobody knows, really. Nobody knows well enough to explain it to another. And that's partly because it's unknowable, insofar as it's a subjective experience. Every single one of us experiences life quite differently. Secondly, the explanation of the working principles that all of us have to attend to, they don't conform with expectation, religious expectation, or even scientific expectation. They are real mysteries that we don't yet understand very well. So we have to try and grasp the meaning of life. What's life all around? To do this without developing your intuition is simply, that's what the scientists are doing. They come up with some answers, and some beautiful answers have come up recently. The 11 dimensions of string theory ties in very nicely with ancient wisdom. The Sufis would repeat their practices 11 times. So certain knowledge is somehow knowable without science. Science doesn't really like to hear that said. But we're not scientists, we're esotericists, and what we're doing is understanding that the other half of the brain needs to be included as well. This particular degree, Virgo 18, is showing us one way for us to develop intuition. Now, as we try to interpret the situation in hand and what that means for the future, and so on, we start writing a script for the future. We start looking at the future the way we want it to be. So, in a sense, reading the future is a part of the co-creating of the future. You cannot express your opinion about what might be without making that very thing more likely. And that's what we're thinking about for some people who are really expecting some dark things to occur in life, in their lives. I would refrain from going there. We don't want to imagine a dark future for ourselves. Now, part of the writing of the future occurs when you try and interpret it. So it's good to interpret any of these signs, a Ouija board or a tarot card reading or whatever, interpret that in a positive way. Not everybody does this. I don't know whether or not this is a legitimate spiritual principle, but I do it. I make sure that every interpretation I give has got a silver lining so that people can actually be optimistic about the future. Personally, I see that the responsibility we have for the future is to be optimistic. Now, when we open up to intuition, we're opening up a facility within us that is unknown. We don't really know how to manage it very well. And the assumption that these spirit guides or any agency which gives us information that we can't otherwise get, the assumption that these are good guys, it's not valid. They don't have to be. They've got their own purposes, and that might or might not be helpful to yours. So it's not okay to trust them. Not yet. Let's see if they're trustworthy first. And the choice we have is whether or not to go towards something risky and know that we can find a way through it. Or if we don't know that, then don't go there. It's not a good idea to play with this stuff. It's not a good idea to take tarot cards or Ouija boards or anything too fancifully. They need to be taken as a spiritual discipline.